Jason Shep, where Mondays are for the mind. We're live on every outlet at 6 p.m. Central Time. So hit the follow to the channel, make sure that you're notified, so you can join us every Monday. Jason Shep is now live.
Jason Shep, Mondays for the mind. Grow with us as we sit down with new guests all March long.
Love it. Love it.
I'm a big fan
I have
of
to say,
the little dance coming out of it.
the inclusion of the cutting off the hand scene in summer camp, I feel like really sets the stakes for the show.
Yeah.
I like that. They're coming in to Mondays, assuming you're a new viewer and you see that opening and it's like, oh, what are we getting ourselves into? I just thought we were chilling,
Just
vibing,
peeping
talking.
in on a couple predicaments we have found ourselves into over the years together.
Yeah.
That's why the mental bond is strong here
That's right.
on Mondays.
That's why we got to keep that mind right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, first time in a long time that it's just the two of us.
I know. I feel like my intro I made for this month is a lie now. I feel like I was like, grow with us with guests all month long. How about this?
Today.
You are the guest today in the comments. Welcome.
I was gonna say, Shep, you're my guest, and I'll be your guest.
And that too. And then in the comments we have our other guests. We're just full of guests today. We're all guests on this Monday because it's about you. It's about us. It's about the planet, baby. It's about
the mind.
Well, for as you was talking about before we came on, it's about everything, everywhere, all at once.
That's right, baby. 7 Oscars. Hey.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. That's pretty dope that they took home that many. I've been seeing posts all over the internets all day about it, so a lot of people are very hype about it.
It was, I really felt like it was an underdog story for this kind of thing, like to see these guys succeed. Yeah,
especially with how small that was. You telling me there's only a few people doing the effects on it and whatnot, and seems like it's a very small production. And yeah, for them to go that far and take home that much, that's really dope to see.
Plus, if I don't know if I've had the opportunity to say this on the show, but allow me to do it now. I think that the age of the nerd is waning, and I think the age of the weird is dawning. Because I think with pop culture wise, back in the day, being a nerd, it wasn't cool. Comic books, all that stuff, it was lame. But now it's all the rage. That's what it's been for the past 10, 15 years or so. But now I just feel like in pop culture right now, there's just been some weird shit, and I love it. Like, I've always watched weird movies. I've always been into weird stuff artistically, but I feel like it's becoming a more mainstream thing, and more of the culture is becoming weird.
It is
for it. Let's get weird.
I think we've talked about it a little bit before on the show, because it is very much, I think, a lot of the media, I'd say probably about 80% out there right now is a rendition of something, either a book, a story, a comic book, a video game, whatever it may be. So yeah, I think when these stories start coming about that are completely made up, something completely different, that's why they're taking off. Your Top Guns that were like a big movie last year that came out, some people want something different, and I think that's why I'm actually really hyped for Evil Dead coming this year. Here we got a horror movie, and horror is on a new resurgence. It's a resurgence, it seems like, of this year.
It's been a great year for horror.
It has, man. The only one that I've heard that I'm still not at all interested in is them bringing back the I Know What You Did Last Summer people. I've seen that announced that they're going to make a new I Know What You Did Last Summer movie.
Yeah, I never cared for those much.
No, the first one was all right when it came out, but I didn't think we needed to take it any further, and they did.
we're entering into this like stage where like I've never had I still don't necessarily have a problem with sequels and stuff, but it is to a point now where it's like back when we were younger, like we'd watch like sketch comedy where they're making jokes about like Fast and Furious 23, like coming soon and like stuff like that. And now it's like that's almost a thing in some franchises. Like they just keep going, and and some of them are almost becoming a parody of themselves just by making more and more. And like some things, like I think there's a lot of honor in letting your franchise die. Like I really do. I think like artistically being like, and this is the end, and being done with it. I I that I'm a lot more attracted to that as an audience member.
Yeah, no, I vibe with you. I think a lot of it's just the people making calls and decisions these days are people around our age.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So when they're going up in there, especially when you look at like movies and stuff, they're looking at things like what did everybody always want as a follow up that we never got? Oh, we always wanted another Beetlejuice movie. Oh, they never did it. Let's get everybody. Let's do Beetlejuice and
Right,
let's chock it full of everybody from the first movie and take whoever's the most popular fucking in culture right now and slam them all in. And that's where my problem is. It's like everything these days has to have like, when we're taking like stuff from the past like we haven't seen in 10, 15, 20 years and trying to make a new movie on it. It's like, oh, let's introduce the kids. Let's try to see if people will take the bite so we can keep pushing this movie and this franchise with the kids further and stuff. And it's
right,
like, unless it makes sense, I don't dig it.
right, right.
The
I
only
don't like a blatant cash grab. Like if I can watch something and know for sure that what I'm watching is a cash grab, I'm not here for it.
the only like one that's a franchise that has seemed to pivot in a better direction, for in my opinion, like a good pivot is Scream. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't seen the new one yet.
Sure.
But from what I've seen with it, it's like, okay, how they kind of pivoted or trying to pivot away from the original people, and okay, now we got this new group we're gonna follow around. I think they did it in a good fashion to make it like, okay, yeah, it makes
Mhm.
sense at least. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Or you got something like the Chucky franchise that's like just been consistent since the 80s, you know.
Yeah.
It's the
It,
same story, you know.
Well, and they tried to do a few different things with it, and then they said, you know what, fuck it, let's just include this all where we're at, fuck them.
Yeah. Fuck
And
'em.
that's one thing I did appreciate about Chucky is that even their questionable decisions or something like that, people will say they said, fuck it, we're keeping it. And it's part of the lore. It's here. They're here. You know what I'm saying? So no, I've always really enjoyed that one because I feel like they never they just never went off on a dumb spot. We never had to see Chucky in space. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
They never tried to, like kill Chucky and Tiffany off and then go right with Glinda.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just kept it OG. Fuck it. He keeps coming back. Who knows why?
Again and again and again.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that. Again, I know we've talked about how Halloween could do that if they would step away from Michael Myers and
Right.
make it more about the town being cursed.
We'll get to old Universal someday and be like, hey,
Hey man, I'm telling you, if anybody
not
has any contact information at Universal, give it to me right now because
yeah,
I could set them up with at least a 6 movie Halloween movie. That would
for
be
sure.
epic.
If they need a franchise, we got them
Yeah.
for sure.
That would be epic and it would make everybody happy. Everybody would be happy
Everybody,
by the
oh,
end of it.
that's bold.
I'm saying if you ever been a fan of Halloween, if I could get my hands on it, I think by the end of it, everybody would be like, I
You know
see what he
what?
did and I
He's done it.
like it.
He's
Yeah.
done it.
I see what he did and I like it.
I love it.
But yeah, I don't know. That'll probably never happen. So
A boy can dream. You know.
I'll have a fan.
I think it's getting to a point where they're making so many of these things that eventually they're gonna start running out of people to be in them. So like anybody could probably get in if you wanted to, you know.
That's true. That's true. Although these days it seems like what's that girl's name is in everything, Wednesday and Scream and
Oh
everything. We
yeah,
probably have to fight her to get in them because she's, like I
Jenna
said, she's
Ortega.
in
Right,
fucking everything these
right.
days.
That's what. Let's start a feud with Jenna Ortega. That's what we should do.
She can be the new Scream Queen. I'm the
Right.
Scream King, though.
Right.
So there's beef. No,
Here to.
she's a good act. No hate at all on that, but yeah, that's one of those that's like, I mean, she's just getting that money, getting that guap. She's going around collecting that bag, but there is a thing called overkill, and it's like I just saw the other day they said she's in Beetlejuice too, and I'm like, it's in every fucking thing, man. Let me guess, she's probably gonna be fucking chick's daughter or some shit. 'Cause that's how
She's
everything
right. Yeah.
these
Yeah.
days is going.
She's the Jamie Lee Curtis of right now.
She really is, props to her if that's what she wants to do. That's one of those things that once you get boxed into that corner, if you don't want to be there, you're stuck, man.
Yeah.
Once you get that title of Scream Queen, you're stuck in that genre. I have noticed that, it is very hard. Even with like Jamie Lee Curtis, it's like she was in other stuff, but do you remember that or do you remember Halloween?
Right.
I
Yeah.
remember Halloween.
She is going to be her daughter. I thought I
What do you
saw
know?
that as well.
What do you know? I didn't see
No.
that at all. I just saw that she was in it, and I just took a quick guess of that's what everything is these days. Everybody's got to have a kid, and I get it. I should having a kid myself. I guess I should be like, fuck yeah. But I'm
Right.
sitting here like, maybe they decided not to have kids. Maybe
Even though we have kids in real life, whenever we end Chase and Shep, we're not going to have kids. Or either that or we just Rocky the whole situation where the kids want nothing to do with our legacy and they just go do their own thing.
there would be a huge age difference between our kids.
Most definitely.
So yeah,
Most
I
definitely.
would probably say. I mean, I've offered many, many times for Carson to get in our stuff, and he has never enthusiastically jumped at the chance. So that would check out by the end of it. If he's like, yeah, I never,
Yeah, I don't want to do this.
yeah, I don't even want to be here. Can I get that $20? And then just walk off. And I'd be like, that's it. That's all we could get him. That's all we could get him for tonight, folks.
The applause sign.
But even then, it's just like, I wouldn't, I mean, I get it, but it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot. It's everywhere.
Zeke is ready for his close up. I'm sure he is.
And that's what I say. Like, to me, kids in a movie, I don't care about. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the sequel is. It's like if if Robin Williams was still gracing us with his presence, and they made a Miss Doubtfire 2, and it's like, but Robin Williams has a new kid in it that also is dresses up as a nanny.
Right.
And it's like we
Yeah,
don't you
I
you
feel
don't
ya.
need that. You know what
I
I'm
feel
saying? It's like they made a new Ace Ventura movie and he has the
that
girl
is
he
a
was
thing.
with.
Ace Ventura Jr. or whatever it was. They made that movie. It exists.
Okay, but wait, no, that was when he was a kid, right?
Are you sure?
I believe that was. I think. I hope. That's how I have always interpreted it.
You're saying I hope.
I
Nope.
hope.
The son of an eccentric detective steps into his father's shoes. He's Ace
Son of a
Ventura
fucking
Jr. It
bitch.
makes sense that he would be.
Son of a
Oh, I
bitch.
didn't even finish. Steps into his father's shoes after his mother is wrongly arrested for stealing a baby panda. And in case you guys need the visual reference, Pet Detective Jr.
The only kids I'm cool with coming up and filling the shoes are Steve Irwin's kids.
That's different.
He was in movies. If they start doing movies too, I'm totally cool with that. They can call themselves crocodile hunters. I don't care. That's cool. I'm cool with that. I'm 100% cool with that.
Still a little different, but I feel you.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's his actual kids, so yeah. I mean, yeah.
I get
But
what you're saying for
you
sure.
know, but still, it's like Jane,
It's
Silent
the
Bob.
it's
Oh,
the
we got
it's
their kids
the
in it. Oh,
it's the
yeah.
originality problem, that we're talking about doing franchises just to death. It's
It
like
is. It is.
they. I remember talking about this a long time ago when um, like the first time, like what the fuck do they call her? The Mighty Thor showed up.
Yeah.
The first time Jane became Thor, and the first time Sam became Captain America and all that stuff, like all that. Okay, rad. We have a black Captain America. We have a female Thor. Okay, cool. You guys are trying to up your diversity game, but it'd be better is if you made new female heroes, if you made new heroes of color, like just if you made new characters for these people instead of just rehashing old ones.
Oh, yeah.
Like
I
it
mean,
just felt very lazy.
that was a big debate back in the comic book days too, when
Hmm.
the characters debuted like that. Like, because I mean, that is the truth and facts. It's just like that. You have such and I've already made my opinion on it vocal of the MCU and saying I would have just ended it there and restarted it, from scratch with brand new stories and brand new people. And like you're saying, take these characters, these lesser known characters, and focus more on those while having these more characters we spent 10 plus years with as background characters, but still be able to be around. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Be able to see the X-Men and have Wolverine and Steve Rogers reminiscing about World War II, but I don't need a new fucking Captain America Steve Rogers movie.
right, right, right.
Just let it be known that he's around, have him show up in the big Avengers movies, but like that's it. I don't need any more than that. You can focus on better, like where they're getting at now. You could still have your Blade coming out. You could still have uh you could have focused on Black Panther. You could, all these bigger characters that really didn't get the shine in the first go around.
Hmm.
X-Men, the most diverse fucking group that Marvel has under them that transcends, I think, all of us under one umbrella. Right there,
Yeah.
that's one that I feel like they're just holding out on. They're waiting for the public to get tiresome, and the numbers to shoot down low enough that then they can be like, we got an X-Men movie dropping, and then everybody will get excited again.
Yeah.
And it's like, just tell a good fucking story, man. Don't keep setting up for what's coming up 4 years from now. Like, just tell a good fucking story.
Fact.
And I think that's why like I said, and I think that's why these other movies and stuff are becoming more popular amongst people. You know what I'm saying? Especially like I was telling you, I just finished up last night watching The Last of Us, taking a video game that you can show parts that we saw within the game, but really dive into more side character stories and fleshing more stuff out. And that's why, in working with the creators of said game,
Hmm.
so it's all lines up and it's all really good. And I think that's what made that a very, very good show to watch. Was just that, you know what I'm saying? They could have just been like, here's the video game and
Right.
meet in live form, but I like the flesh. I never played the game, so maybe that's why I really like
I've
the show.
I've I've played a little bit of it, but I'm excited to watch the show. I've heard really good things about it. So
Yeah,
I'm hyped.
I think that's why, like, that and um fuck, we watched that show. I forget what with the LA Lakers show and stuff like that when it drops. I think that's
Right.
why it catches my eye, and I really like watching that is because
Mhm.
it's like this isn't just another. Yeah, we're getting to see something that really happened, but we're getting to see a side that we never got to see of it.
Yeah.
It's more, it's original. It's something new. It's like, oh, I'm more about this. You know, and that's why I like that. And that's why, yeah, like you're saying, the franchises do get tiresome.
Yeah. And I mean, there's something to like having an old familiar to go back to, and like there's something comforting in watching movies that like you're familiar with. But sometimes after that's all you're fed for so long, like you want something new, you want something fresh.
Well, and I think the problem was, everybody saw what Marvel was doing and was like, "Oh, we can make our own universe of this, and we can make our own
Right.
universe of
Yes.
that." So,
What about Young Rock? You're a wrestling type of guy.
I love wrestling, but I'll be completely honest with you. I ain't never watched no fucking Young Rock myself. I've caught bits and pieces here and there on the internet of people like posting up, when they've done this wrestler on there or that wrestler and making fun of. See, yeah, same. I've seen clips too. I mean, it does seem interesting. I think the when I originally saw it, I thought it was weird. Like The Rock is the president and he's reminiscing on his life. That's weird. If they just kept it as The Rock going back on his whole wrestling career and it's showing that, I think that, which I feel like that's kind of where they turned and like went into. So it
Yeah.
might be good, but it's one of those things that's like, I have a real, I don't know. If I saw Stone Cold on it and I was like, I think I'm good because of that. He didn't look like Stone Cold. I was like, I'm good on that. And I'm that kind of a wrestling fan that bothers me. But you give me some, I know there's some new Dark Side of the Rings gonna come out sometime soon. Oh, I'll be watching those every week. Like that's interesting shit. I like documentary type stuff. But as far as like the movies go this year, I'm like most of my hypeness is in horror. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, I feel like that's where a lot of the originality's been this year, is in horror flicks.
Horror. There's some. Like I said, we've talked. DC's got a couple coming out that seem that they're going to be off the normal path of what we see in that genre.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm kind
Well,
of hyped.
yeah. Leave it to horror films to have to save the movie industry once again. Always bailing them out year after year.
And I'm sure there's more dropping that I don't know about. Maybe Super Mario will be the big hit of the year. You never know.
Does look lit. Can't even
It
lie.
does look like it would be pretty fun to watch. It would be pretty fun to watch it.
I did. So we did catch. There have been a lot of great movies, especially this month. A lot of stuff's been dropping this month, and we saw Creed 3 in the IMAX a couple weeks ago, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It was a little odd without Stallone there. And honestly, I actually do think that was my biggest problem with it. I didn't expect that to be my biggest problem with it, but it was the lack of Rocky. And it's just like Rocky really is about. When I watched all of them for the first time last year, I was like surprised at like who Rocky Balboa was as a character. Like I thought he was going to be more of just this meathead, sort of thing, like tough guy, and he's like one of the sweetest, most gentle characters in like cinema history, and like he's very just like simple. I'm surprised there aren't like Taoist books about Rocky Balboa, because he lives that life of just being, and he always has all this great like life advice and stuff, and really radiates positivity through all these movies. And then Creed like is a very different, vibe. But at least in those first two, Rocky brought the positivity with him.
Right,
He was at least there to still be Rocky, even if Creed was going to be a hothead. And then in Creed 3, without him being there, there's just this total absence. It's just not, for them to keep going on being like this is part of the Rocky thing. Like I could see where Stallone's upset about all this, but it was fine. Like as far as a Creed movie goes, it was pretty good. Jonathan Majors is killing it. I'm glad to see him getting his time in the
I
sun.
think that's what that I haven't seen any Creeds or Creed 3, but that was the biggest thing is like, yeah, I did watch Ant-Man and he was really good in it, but it's like
Hmm.
where, like just looking at the previews to Creed 3, it's like, see, this is how Jonathan Majors should have been as Kang. Like, he kind of scares the fuck out of me in that. Like, I feel like he could really do some harm to me at any moment. Whereas in
Right.
Ant-Man, I felt like with the way he was acting, he was just more annoyed of where he was and wanted to get out than imposing. And,
Right.
like he never came across as terrifying, a
Yeah.
big threat. He's just like, like every other villain, kind of, I guess is a good way to put it. He's just kind of world
I feel you.
like the rest of their villains. I probably glitched out there for a
You
second.
did, but it's okay. But yeah, we had Creed 3, and then there's a bunch of other ones this month. Scream 6 just came out. I haven't seen that yet. John Wick 4 comes out this month.
True. Shazam.
Uh, Shazam, and then Dungeons and Dragons also comes out this month too. So pretty stacked month for movies. It's like damn. It's like summer movie season starting in March.
Pretty much, man. They're getting it going soon because it really just no stopping from here on out. Like every other month has something huge in it. I feel like
For sure.
because it's like, well, shit. Like just looking at like my head, it's like, well, there's plenty I want to see. March, April comes around, I want to see Evil Dead. May comes around, I want to see Guardians. You
Yeah.
know, June comes around, I want to see The Flash. July comes around, something's probably out that I want to see. Jeez, all this, all the sign language, love to see it. I believe a daughter is actually played by a deaf actress.
Did we get a comment? I don't see it.
Here, I'll flash him on the screen. I see him. This was Belle said that. I don't know what she said all the sign language to.
Oh yeah, in Creed 3.
Oh, word. That's dope.
Yeah. But we've also
thoughts on this. See, Randy's asking that, and Dungeon looks actually good.
I'm not getting any of these.
They all just popped up all at once.
Let's
for me.
do the deaf thing first. The deaf thing. So we've been watching like a lot of things lately that have a lot of deaf characters in it. It's pretty cool to see because we watch like both Quiet Place movies, Creed 3, and I guess Creed 1 and 2, I suppose, because the chick is deaf or going deaf.
The Last of Us had an episode with a kid that was deaf in it, and he was played
Yeah.
by a kid that was actually
We've
deaf.
glitched the Matrix. You did. They all just appeared for me. So that's what's up. But yeah, it's really cool. Every time I see it in movies, it makes me want to learn more. Because it's like, why not? You know, it's like who doesn't want to know another language? Like, come on, you lazy fucks. All right.
Zay, I know. A.
What did you say?
So this is an
gotcha.
A R. I think. Oh, I don't know. I know some of them, but not much.
You don't know how to finish spelling your name. You were one letter away, my dude.
Arrow. I don't know how to do an N.
Arrow. Everybody's gonna be like, "Who the fuck is Arrow?"
Thoughts on the new Scream 6? Like I said, we haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it.
I have heard very good. I've heard very good things about it though so far. So
looks good.
One of the things
to get in the mood.
One of the things I heard was it was akin to like Scream 2, how like Scream 2 they were off at college and they're like, this one being set outside the town was very, very akin to Scream 2. And then I saw someone said that they thought the first three were more chilled, you know what I'm saying? Like had more downtime, a little suspense downtime, where they thought this one was just nonstop, really in your face type of shit.
I've heard this one is super brutal, and I do feel like I got something spoiled for me regarding it was just talking about the timing of when they reveal the killer within the movie, and I was like, really? It made me more interested to see it because I'm curious how that's gonna work. So apparently it went over well because there's not like a ton of negativity surrounding it. So
no, like I said, I've heard pretty damn good things about it. So
and the Dungeons and Dragons movie actually looks good. It does actually look good. I'm not, it's like The Last of Us for you. I never played Dungeons and Dragons, so I wouldn't know enough to be offended if things were wrong,
that's
or
true.
inaccurate.
Dungeons and Dragons looks like a fun movie to me, but it's probably one that I'll wait until it's streaming to catch personally, just because there's just so much coming out right now that my wallet's like, I don't know.
And with a lot of them, you can always predict what's going where too. Like if a Warner Brothers movie's out, you can count on it being on HBO Max or Universal on Peacock. So there's like a lot of Universal movies that I'm just like, I'll wait the 45-day window.
I think Shazam's gonna be that movie this year that's like the sleeper. That a lot of people are just turned
So,
off on DC. They really haven't marketed the movie too much. Um, but I think that it's gonna be a movie that's actually turns out to be really fucking good if you go watch it. Kind of like the first one. Like people are like, yeah, I want
yeah.
Shazam, whatever. You went and watched it and you walked out like, oh wow, that was actually pretty fucking decent. That was really
Yeah.
good. I think this next movie is going to be a lot like that. I think people are going to go in there expecting it to be just like the first one, and I feel like it's going to be a little bit better, and they're going to walk out being like, "Damn, that was actually a pretty fucking good movie."
I hope so. I really do.
I think, like I said, I think the numbers are going to look terrible. I do. I don't think like weekend opening numbers or anything, because like even me, that's one of those that I'm like, weekend. I'll go see that on Tuesday. When it's a
Right.
little bit
Yeah.
cheaper.
I
Unless
don't even
I
know if
could,
I'd go see it in the IMAX. I mean, if the opportunity arose, I'd probably go see it in the IMAX. The
um,
preferred way to watch anything.
I uh, I would only go in the IMAX if I got another poster. I got a poster of the first movie, and if I can get another poster in the IMAX, you know what? I'd fucking go.
Scream is one of those movie franchises that doesn't seem to have a necessarily bad iteration. I think they somehow all make good commentary on the horror genre of their time, even after Wes Craven. I agree. I agree.
I I think so too. I think they did really good. Keeping things, switching it up, making it fresh. Even the lesser liked ones. I
Mhm.
think I've went. We rewatched pretty much all of them at this point this year, and I've been like, that's pretty cool. I know I could get down on some Scream trivia.
Mhm.
I feel
Right.
like at this point.
I started because I had just watched all of them like a couple years ago before five came out. Uh, and so I didn't feel like rewatching the whole series again. So I was like, well, fuck it, I'll just watch four and five because five's leads right into this one, and four had Hayden Panettiere in it, and I knew she was coming back for this one. So I was like, fuck it, I'll do this little trilogy. And as I was watching four and five, all I could think of was to watch one, two, and three. I'm like, fuck, I want to just keep watching the rest of these.
Yeah,
So
I guess that was the only other thing I had heard about this one, which I pretty much assumed based on the posters and the marketing
mm,
they did with it. But they said that this one is actually like people were like really hyped because they're like they actually talk about all of the Scream killers. It's not just like how some of them are just like, oh, Billy and Stu, Billy
yeah,
and Stu, Billy and Stu. It's like this one actually acknowledges everything that's happened throughout the entire franchise. So people were pretty hype about that.
yeah,
Uh,
that's exciting.
because if you're trying, if you're in a movie of people killing in the same fucking mask and you're trying to figure it out, it's probably pretty good to go back and look at all the other psychopaths that try to do the same.
For sure.
Because, there is a pattern of two killers besides one movie that there was not two killers in. There was only one,
That's
I
true.
believe. I think that's the third
I
one.
think so.
He did it all by himself.
Spoilers.
So if you haven't seen the third one by now, it's like,
I
where have
mean,
you been?
yeah, I think we gotta quit using that as an excuse to spoil old movies because there's younger people who've never seen this shit before. There are people going to the movies this weekend to see Scream 6 and then being like, oh, I need to go back and watch all these other ones.
You're
I mean,
lost,
granted,
man.
they probably got a bunch of shit spoiled for them when they saw Scream 6,
Yeah.
but like,
Yeah. That's what I'm
you know,
saying. Like you'd literally if they're talking killers by name, you'd literally have every movie ruined for you because if you could
facts,
remember the names they said at the
facts.
beginning when you met the characters, you'd be like, well, there's the killers.
Well,
It's especially like
whatever.
any of them. So that's like, going into a Marvel movie right now and not watching the 196 hours that you needed to watch to get caught up. Like you're that's on you, man. Like, it sucks, dude. It is
Yeah,
exhausting. It is exhausting. I feel that. That's why I'm kind of glad I've up to date.
I know. I'm glad I've been on this train since like the beginning so I don't have to like, fight my way up that hill like some people.
It's not that like honestly this is my last thing I'll say on the MCU, because we've talked a little bit on it, but they could literally condense the Phase 4 if they wanted to do like the watch through to get caught up. Just condense all the TV shows to the very last episode. Just last episode.
True. Yeah.
You'd get it. You'd get it. I
Right.
promise.
Here's the
you'd get it.
recap. Here's the last episode. That's what happened. Yeah, I feel you.
But yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's been a minute though. I don't think we've really talked on how it's been a minute since it's just been the two of us.
No, we just
On-
went on a
on the
tangent
stream.
about movies, I think. As we do, that's what happens. You leave us alone for one episode and we just start talking about horror and comic books and we get right back to our old bullshit.
One of the very few times I'm okay with the Randy in a series. Yeah, Randy was a very
Yeah.
good character. I
Even if
like
it's
him
Jamie
too.
Kennedy who plays him. I have mixed feelings about Jamie Kennedy. I feel like the world wants me to hate him, but I don't. You know, like
I don't like him per se on like stand up or the
Yeah.
Jamie Kennedy show.
I don't
or
necessarily
whatever he
think
did.
he's funny, but I don't dislike.
I think he did. I think he fit well within the first two Scream movies. I remember seeing the second one in theaters and being a bit sad when he got pulled into that van. Like, no, not him. He's the funny one. Like, damn it. And that's what they wanted
to do. All you kids.
Spoilers for Scream 2. If you didn't catch it in Scream 5 when they had the memorial of Randy up in the house, he dies. He dies. And you talk to his sister and they're like, yeah, our uncle who died didn't follow his own rules. Or in Scream 5 when she's watching the first Stab movie and
maybe they haven't even seen 5 and 6. Maybe they're prepping. You know, maybe they're like, oh, it's the 6. I need to, you know, do what I can't do. I need to go to the video rental store and get all the fucking VHS tapes. Watch them all in a weekend.
You know, like we were talking a little bit earlier when I was telling you I was ordering all movies. They surprisingly on Amazon for all the Halloween movies, at least, I could find VHS copies. They were expensive as shit, but I was like, that's so random that you could like just literally I could own a VHS copy of Halloween, but people take it that far. I've seen people's Evil Dead collection of having like literally an Evil Dead from every country. It seems like, you know, they got
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, I love collecting my movies and stuff, and I know for a fact because I saw this interview with Quentin Tarantino once where he was talking about uh, he even when he was living paycheck to paycheck, he'd be blowing all of his money on like movies and movie related stuff and like, you know, geeky shit. He's like, and then I got more money and I just spent more money on this kind of stuff. And it's like I would totally do the same thing. Like a lot more of the like collector's items kind of things. Like, yeah, I'd probably splurge. But even if I had the extra money, something I wouldn't do that like I have to draw the line as a collector. So like when I was at Best Buy the other day, they had the steel books out for Wakanda Forever, and they were dope. And there were two of them, and on the case it said collect both covers. It's like they're the same thing, dog, with different covers. Like, you know, it's all the same discs, but I just now have
Right.
2 copies of the same shit. Technically like 6 copies because you got like your 4K, your Blu-ray, your DVD, your digital copy, 8, you know, in each fucking set. And it's like I can't even go home and use both these digital copies. But I do have 2 fucking covers that look rad, you know. It's just like I draw a line. I'm like, you're literally making me buy the same thing twice.
I
You know?
wouldn't. If I had a lot of money, I would probably buy like movie props for movies I
Right.
like. You know, like a glove from a Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
On the
you
flip
know?
side, at Best Buy, I did see one of the because every now and then there's a collector's set that I'll see that I'm like, now that's fucking dope. Like somebody put some thought and effort into that set, and they had a John Wick like trilogy set, and even though the 4th movie's coming out, it was one that I'm like, I might fuck around and buy this because it was just such a cool like set because it like, you know, in the movies there's that whole like criminal underworld and stuff, and so the whole box was kind of designed around that
Right.
concept and shit, and it was just so dope. Like it was just you'd have to look it up and check it out for yourself, but like holding it in the store, I'm like, I'd drop 80 bones on this.
I mean, like I said, man, there's definitely things that are good. Like when we were out that one day and I got that Adventure Time set, it's like,
Yeah.
dude, this shit's really dope. It's very unique, and it's one of those things that's like, I'm glad I got it at a steal at the resale shop, and then I think the last time or a couple times I was, they took it off the shelf. So I'm like, well, see, there you go. Now, if I didn't get it there, I wouldn't have it at all. It'd be gone from the resale shop, and I'd go here to pay 70 bones for it, and it'd be gone.
Yep, exactly. Sometimes you just gotta snatch something up when you see it cheap.
You really do,
I know
man.
I'm always bummed when I put stuff in my Amazon cart for later and I come back and it's like way more expensive than how I left it. I'm like, that's not what we discussed. That's not what we negotiated at all.
Right, right. No, I feel you there, bro. That's why, like, I be jumping on things these days when I just eyeball them. If it's too high, I'm like, it's just too high. I'll just eyeball it, and then every time it seems to have worked out for things like, um, I'd like to say I got the Workaholics when it was low. It was like 20 something bucks, and now it's up at like $45 to get the whole series. So it's like, okay, we're getting low on those stocks. I see. Good.
You know, I'll pay full price for something, but like in the grand hunt of things, like there's certain movies that like in my heart, like I have a price set. Like it's not worth more than a certain amount to me, I guess. Like what was it, Black Friday shopping? They had copies of Morbius. And I think it was like $10. I was like, if you did five, I would have, but not for 10. I wouldn't pay 10.
Morbid
You know,
time.
it's just like
No, I feel
certain
you.
movies, man. Like all, it's like see, like I was willing to pay 10, and you went 15. Like you could have had something here, but
I mean, like I said, man, I'm the same, dude. There's a fine line that and it's not very high, man. Like I be looking, the last thing I need is, if I get Ash vs Evil Dead season 3, I've got all Evil Dead that there is to have.
heck
But
yeah.
man, when I look online and it says like $25 for one season, and that's what I think, for one season. I bought season 1 and 2 for $3 a fucking piece, man.
Right.
Why is the
You
third
know,
one like 30? Where are we at?
some movies they should pay you to watch. That's not
I feel
not
you. I feel
right.
you. I might.
Morbius
I
could
might.
be one of them. I didn't mind. I'd pay $5 to watch Morbius. It was a
I
nice
might.
like 2000s action movie. I enjoyed it.
I might be diving into some of those myself. That they should
Yeah,
be paying me to watch here
I
soon.
mean,
It'll be fun.
it happens.
But
This
yeah.
that's why Chase and Chev needs to become successful so that we can dive back into 25 Slays of Christmas. Hit us up on the Sci-Fi Channel around December, and they let us do 25 Slays of Christmas. We just get to host a new movie every night. But
That's
at
what I
that
say.
point,
That's.
we'll watch shittier movies because they pay us to watch them.
Oh, I
So
won't watch them. I wouldn't watch them
I
at
don't
all.
want to watch
I
them. Get
wouldn't.
the cliff notes.
No, we don't need to watch them. I'd pay somebody else to watch them, yeah, and then like be like, all
And
right, so when you come back in from the first commercial break, this is what you're gonna say, and when you come back in for the second one, I'd be like, fuck yeah, dude, I got you.
have a
That's
writer's room.
that's that's the end goal. Yeah, that's the end goal
Wow.
right there, bro.
I,
Just to sit on a little Christmas set and film fucking 25 intros in an afternoon and be like, see ya.
see ya. Ugh.
I'd be with it, dude. I'd be with it. I actually have a pretty good idea for the 31 slays, but we can talk about that after we're done streaming.
Ooh, okay.
Or we could talk about it right now. We still got like 20 minutes. So, I mean, we can fill some time shooting some ideas, because it's like, I thought about doing it in a different way than we did it the last time we did it.
Mhm.
But a way that would still be kind of
Other
fun.
than other than chaotic and all over the place.
But kind of more so like, kind of just watching our own movies on our own that we want, and then
Mhm.
when we come to stream and talk about them, it's one of those where it's like me, like say I'm like, all right, I watched Attack of the Killer Donuts tonight, and you're like, well,
Mhm.
that's dumb. I watched Child's Play, the original one, and it's like, okay, well, I've watched Child's Play with you, so we can talk on that first and just both talk on that because we both seen that, so we can both sit there and talk on it. But when it gets into like something that we both haven't seen, then like, you not seeing the one I have, you can be asking me some questions on it, like, well, so what's it about? What's this and what's that? You know what I'm saying? I think that might be a
Feel you.
cool way to do it. One that, wouldn't require us to sit down and watch 31 movies in a row in October. We can just kind of film them as we go
I feel
along
you.
in the year. Because
It'd
we
be
both,
fun.
I feel like, because you be watching some horror movies that I don't really get to, and I think same on the other side. I'd be watching a lot
For
of
sure.
shitty ones
I
that
didn't I
you're
didn't
like,
I didn't get to Attack of the Killer Donuts.
that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah,
like, I'd be watching some that you're probably like, yeah, I'm not gonna sit through that one. I got other movies I really want to watch, to where like,
but I might.
you know,
I don't know.
that's true.
I might.
Well, but that might be where it comes out. You're asking me questions and I'm talking to you about it, and you're like, now I'm kind of fucking interested
Right.
in this movie, and I'm like, you should go watch that shit. It's good because some of them are pretty cool. I got some up my sleeve that I want to check out that I feel like are going to be very shitty, but they could surprise me.
Super random, just jumping back to the 25 Slays or whatever. But we just wrapped up watching You season 4. And there was a person in season 4 that I'm like, where have I seen this dude before? Like, I've seen him in something else. And he was kind of a dick in that, too. And I had to look it up. And it was a dude from Anna and the Apocalypse that was like the leader of the little jock group
Her
or whatever.
ex-boyfriend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
The
was like,
only, well, that spoilers. The only other persons besides Anna that survives at the end.
Chase and Chef for Oscar host 2024. I'd be here for that. Let's try to campaign for the 100th. We're 5 years away. My cousin last night, he's the one that's got me super into the Oscars over the years, and so as soon as they were over, we called each other, started talking about everything that just went down. And he told me, he's like, I'm sitting here, I'm thinking about you because I'm just thinking about the day you're going to get up there yourself on that stage. And I'm like, I'm flattered. But I told him, I was like, well, this was the 95th. So we got 5 years to go to be up on that stage for the 100th Oscars. So that's, we're right around the bend.
That'd be pretty dope, man. You never know. You never know, man. Where life could do it. We could be there. And be like, holy shit. I remember 5 years ago when we sat on our Monday stream. We
Right.
dreamed about being here, and now look at us.
Here we are.
Damn, dude. And Shep news of the week, I've been wanting to buy a scale for a long while, right?
Scale. Okay.
I've been feeling very flabby this winter.
Oh,
Like
okay. That kind of scale. Gotcha.
Yeah, been feeling like I put on some weight, kind of down a little bit, and I think that kind of showed. You'd be like, "Oh, we should, if we work on summer camp, we could refilm this." And I've been like, "But I'm just not the same as I was in summer camp, like I'm gonna jump 15 pounds." So yeah, whatever. So I was like at Walmart. I was looking for some other shit for my bathroom. I saw a scale. I was like, I should buy one. So I bought this scale, and I was like really afraid to step on it because I was like, damn, bro, it's just not gonna be good. But I was actually quite surprised. Honestly, I stepped on it. Yeah, the muscle is turning into flab. I'll give you that. Like I feel bigger, but surprisingly enough, I only weighed 179 pounds. I was like, okay, that's right around where I should be. So awesome. Looked it up. I was like, what's a healthy weight for a man that's 5'10"? It said 142 to 180 something. And I was like, okay. And then it's like the double-edged sword, because then yesterday I proceeded to make an entire thing of cinnamon rolls and eat them all. So I was like, damn.
Yeah, well, that'll happen.
And I was like, I might as well eat a salad for fucking dinner now, I guess. Like, damn, I took them all down, bro. I was like, damn. I felt real bad when I was done. I was like, I shouldn't have got that fucking scale. See, that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to be that guy that goes and weighs myself. I'm under 180. I can eat a whole pack of Reese's Cups.
Right. I can have a chip. Yeah. Food can be a bitch, man. It really can. I told Belle like a couple nights ago, I'm like, I think I might have an eating disorder. Like, I don't know, man, but like, cause I went for a walk the other day in one of those like little libraries around here. Had this graphic novel that was like that fucking thick, called Lighter Than My Shadow. And it was very depressing. But like, it was a true story. It was like a memoir. And this girl dealt with like eating disorders growing up, amongst other things. And as I'm reading it, some of it really hit. Like, especially like the binge eating and stuff, like especially when you try to like not do it and then you just fucking snap and then you're all up in your head like, what the fuck is wrong with you eating all that food, you fucking fat piece of shit. And I'm back in that cycle again, which really sucks because I hit the ground after basically January 1st. Like, I was doing real good there for a while. I also blame it on pot, because that also there was a correlation between my eating habits and my smoking habits.
They do suck, man. That little voice does start sitting in your head, being like, "Damn, some chips would be fire right now, or some snacks." I try to do the same, dude. Like mine basically is just that I'm just turning into a big blob of fat. Not like that's a negative thing. I'm not saying that as
Right.
a negative thing, but like if I started like literally, if I started hitting it and like working out and doing my thing, my weight would not budge. I would still be probably between 170 or 75 and 185.
Right.
I'd get very skinny, but it'd be like, oh, so that was just I'm just a lazy piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the pregnancy cravings, and that's what you got to. That's
You're
what I
the
was going to
deal.
say, and that's the one thing you got to remind yourself, bud. Um, we don't talk enough about how the men do put on weight during the women's
Mhm.
pregnancy as well, because you are snacking just alongside she is, and you do not have someone growing inside you.
Facts.
So yeah, so
I got
you
ulcers
will.
growing inside of me. I got
Mm,
fucking
yeah. So that's where you gotta always keep that in mind when you're snacking and stuff, man. That it's like it's all part of that cycle. Like you guys are both gonna put on some lbs when the kids come, and then the kids are gonna run, and you're gonna drop the lbs
I know the
because you're gonna be
timing was
chasing after them all.
so poor. Me trying to eat healthy while she's pregnant, not working out very well. Very, very counterproductive household.
It happens, man. That's when I put on my like when I got my heaviest in life. That's when it was. It was when I just didn't stop.
It's true.
It is a
It
joint
takes
effort.
it takes two to tango.
That was my problems. I just didn't stop. Like my son's mom, when he came out, her metabolism was just kicking. And she literally the day he came out looked like she was never even pregnant. And I was just like, Jesus Christ. Because I had probably gained about 50 fucking pounds by that point. Um
Yeah.
and it took a while to go away.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, my thing, mine. There's an element of self control to it, where it's like,
Yeah.
you could be like, Chase, have more self control. Of course. But I'm also old enough at this point to like know like what my limits are and what I need to do to overcome. Self control ain't working for me. So instead, my version of self control is I ain't gonna buy the shit. I ain't gonna bring it into the house. But when you got somebody who has pregnancy cravings that brings everything into the house, and then it's also always kind enough to offer you some,
Yeah.
your self control takes a hit, and you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll have one or six or seven, fucking
Oh no, I feel you. I feel you. I'm
just have to
terrible.
breastfeed. For who? Who's it burning calories for? Me or her?
I think he's saying if you breastfeed, you'll
if
burn
if
calories.
if I breastfeed, like if I feed from the breast or if I feed from my breast, like what?
Self-interpretations, bud. However you interpret it.
Nice.
I like to think male lactation would contain more protein, which means the baby's gonna be buff as fuck. I actually knew a guy that could lactate.
That
One
is
of
a
my
hell of a
best
funny trick.
one of my best friends in high school, Eric Jones. Who? Eric Jones. He could lactate, and it was he'd go up to people and he'd be like, I could shoot milk out of my nipple, and they'd be like, you're a guy, no you can't, and he'd pull up his shirt and squirt some out across the table, and people would be like, holy fuck. And I do believe he actually found out that he had a um I don't know what the tumors are that I don't think kill you, but they just stay with you. Malignant, maybe
I
I'm
think so.
terrible like that. But I think he ended up finding out that he had a tumor on his hormone gland in his brain, and that's what was causing it. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense because it
Yeah.
never made sense that you could lactate.
Interesting.
Yes. So if you're a male out there,
Just naming him and everything.
he showed people. I'm
It's
not
his party
outing
trick.
him or
Yeah. This guy might as well be performing
I'll
in
ask
Vegas. You know?
I'll ask him. You know what? I ain't talked to him in probably about a year, so I need to hit him up. And I'll ask him. I'll say, "Hey, bud, can you still lactate? Is that still a thing, or are you done with that? Get that."
Neat party trick with an insanely dark twist. Wow, that's really cool. Thanks. I can do it because of this tumor on my brain.
Hey, coincidentally or not, hey, if I could rock it, I'd do it. I wouldn't give two shits.
And they're like, oh,
Just think of if you having sex with a girl and she's like into like sucking on your nipples and she tried and you're like, you don't want to do that.
you
She's
trust
like,
me, you don't want to
why?
do that.
I'm like, because you're gonna get some milk in your mouth. No,
Or you could be a real gentleman in the morning,
mood killer.
say you hooked up with a woman the night before. You could wake up the next morning, make some coffee, and put a little
Special
cream in there, right in
special
front of him, be
ingredient.
like, I made it just for you. Like,
I wish, man. If he lived close here, we'd have that in a skit already. We'd have that right there. Like him be a waiter or something, and they're like, "Hey, I asked for milk with that," and he's just like fucking
worst
you go.
superpowers of all time. I don't know, man. That one's pretty practical. Having milk come out of your titties. It's been like one of the only real superpowers human beings have, for most
It's
of
true.
time.
I've been
So it's
I've
gotta
been
be.
hitting up some buddies I ain't talked to in a while. So I was hitting up one of my buddies earlier today. I didn't talk to him in about a year. I was like, damn, the last text I sent him was like March 29th of last year. It's crazy.
Seems a lot, but
Um,
hell yeah.
Hey, if you can do it, man. Do it to it. I'd be using my own milk for everything. Shepherd's milk. That's what they call it. Shepherd's milk. You want some of that shepherd's milk? I got that good.
I don't even know. I don't even know if this episode deserves a one time for the mind.
I've actually got a one time for the
Oh,
mine.
let's hear it.
As you can see by the background of my house right now, it's bright as fuck in my living room, and that's because everybody keeps buying up my favorite sort of light bulbs for my house, which are the stained glass light bulbs. They're very low mood. They get it very dim in here. It's a lot of red, oranges, warm colors. I really enjoy them. One time for the mind, calm the fuck down. I'm buying them, man, because I need some. This is too bright, dude. I get a headache every night. Every fucking night. It's like I let look, you can see it in the fucking television. You can see how bright that damn light is, man. I don't know if I just bought some bulbs that were like LEDs of the sun or what, but like that shit is bright, dude. Like too bright. I don't like it. I don't like it. So one time for your mind, if you are at Walmart and you come across some stained glass light bulbs from General Electric, leave them be.
Or buy them for ship.
Or buy them from me. I'd love you big time, man. I just need to buy them online. I can just order some online, but it's been lazy.
I'll steal my one time for the mind from Randy's comment here. Not this one. He commented as I was clicking.
Look how I will. Like while you explain yours, I'm gonna shut it off, and you'll see how dark it gets without a light in here.
Mothers are superheroes. Yes, they are. One time for the mind. They are though. They really are. My mom's a superhero. I know that. They'd be doing the most. It looks fine. It looks great. What's the
That's
problem?
fine. That's fine for this right now, but when I sit down and start trying to do anything on my table, I can't see shit with just one light, one dim ass light in the house. I need two of them. I'm greedy.
That's a conundrum. That's a conundrum.
Mothers are superheroes. Good call, Chase. Oh, is that what you're?
That's what I was going on about. That's what I was one timing for the mind. It's okay. It's all falling apart now. They are superheroes, but the more important thing is leave chef's lights alone. Lo-fi bisexual lighting is the best lighting.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like to me, this is you got to know the whole vibe in my living room here. You know what I'm saying? I'll just move it over here a little bit. Don't my table's got a lot of shit. It got like little pumpkin lights going over here. I can't figure out which way to go. There you go. over here, there's little pumpkin lights. If there's just one more little dim light, like this light, that's so perfect. That's perfect for me. I love it. It just lights off a little space below hand, little light. I love it. Leave my dim lighting alone. I did. I panned over.
I love it.
The side of my house that nobody gets to see on the stream.
The pan of shit.
Coincidentally has the most shit. So
I've been in that living. I was gonna say Randy's been in that living room.
been there. You know exactly where I'm talking about.
It's a good living room.
I change I mean, it's a little different. I change constantly. I like to move stuff around. I feel like that's healthy. That's nice to like switch things around every now and then.
For sure. Yeah, I don't think. Have you been over since we got our TV mounted?
Not since it's been mountain.
You know, it's the same TV that I've had for fucking nearly 10 years, but mounted. It just looks so nice.
I saw the picture on Snapchat. It does look nice in the spot it is. I really wish I hadn't broke my mounted TV because it's just kind of sitting there.
It's been nice. First time I've ever haven't had it mounted, and all the time I've owned it.
Mounted TVs are nice. Now I got that little piece of shit sitting right in front of it, and I have to literally, like, if I play video games, I got to use this seat I'm in right now and scoot up real close to it because I can't see shit. And it sucks. But you know what? You do what you got to do. I can buy a new TV at any point I want, but it always just seems like such a hassle. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, I like to use self-checkout at Walmart, and I feel like going through self-checkout with a big-ass TV, they're going to be like, hold up, homie. Wait a second.
They might. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. Maybe you can pay for it back at electronics and be out the door, and nobody even has to know you're there.
Well, the move I need to make, the move I've wanted to make, and the move I need to make is to order one online. They got really nice little bundles online. You get a little sound system with it and all that shit, and just have it delivered to like my grandpa's house because he's usually there. You know what I'm saying? So I could call him and be like, hey, it's going to be there, you know, Thursday by 1 p.m. or some shit. And he'd be like, cool. Because that's my fear is like I'll order a TV online and they'll just drop it off on my front porch right by the main road, and somebody will drive by and be like, damn, fucking 50-inch TV sitting right there. Hell yeah, man. And then they'll be like, why don't you have a ring alarm, Aaron? Well, because I don't want one.
You tell them.
Two times for the mind.
2 times for the mind. Who's been pushing a ring alarm on you? I couldn't imagine anybody trying to sell you on that.
All of them, dude. Everybody's selling me on ring alarms these days.
It happens. These modern folk.
Just took it up to your Amazon.
We got an Amazon Echo Dot for Christmas, and it's still just sitting here in the box. So both thank you and apologies to my sister and brother-in-law for the gift, but we've seen Terminator in this household, and we ain't trying to plug Alexa in.
Too much for my mind. It's been blown. It's been blown. Welcome to the Mondays. It's after hours on Chase and Shep. We're over the hour mark.
Overtime.
That's where anything goes. Anything goes in these minutes here. I can say anything right now. And it cannot be traced back to Chase and Shep because we officially ended.
Right. We quit working 3 minutes ago.
I'm off the clock, baby. I'm off the clock. No, it's been a fun night, man. An hour did kind of blow by. I'm with that.
For sure.
I'm with that. It's been fun having everybody in the chats. I'm glad that we had all you guys as our guests tonight.
Yes. This was I feel like Randy snuck in another guest spot.
I'm gonna count it.
All right. Let's shut her down. Hit him with this outro.
Shut her down. Outro. Smooches and deuces.
Ignore the misinformation on the outro video.
We'll see you guys in 1 week's time.